the Guan, all these healers, fantastic. I'm zooming in more so on the
It's just the Erlong shit.
on the elephant in the room. That is the Erlong Shen. Yeah, I'm guessing because auto attack junglers.
Yeah, this just feels outdated. You know, all these other picks, we've been seeing them a little bit this year. You know what? It's just call Scream like old-fashioned.
Yep, that's what he wants. And I guess it's because I've seen a lot of these junglers try and make this pick work once again. They all put so many hours into playing Erlong Shen. I wouldn't be surprised if Gilgamesh comes back in just for a bit because you have so much time on these warrior jungles, and they fall out of fruition. We'll have to see if Scream can make it work. He's going to be up against Captain Twig on the Vamana, which is, I mean, the highest contested pick in the SPL right now, if we got those stats correct. I mean, it's very strong for a reason. Very safe. He's got that all-in potential. That Wing Shard and Colossal Fury just synergize so well. So we'll have to see what Scream's able to do on a pick like this, who we honestly have not seen in some time. There is one benefit of it, though. You don't need Golden Blade. You can just skip that item because you've got the dog to help you out with your clear, which means Scream can just go right into Kins if he would like to, and that's what usually the build is.
Well, he started that direction. I'm just more concerned with whether or not it's going to get done what it wants to get done. I mean, I can't think of anybody other than maybe Tings and Hardcore to taunt in. And well, yeah, that's 40% of the Kings. That's 2 targets. They are some of the hardest people to get to with the bodies the Kings will put in front of that. So I'm going to keep eyes on Scream. I think everybody should this game. Just to see what it's going to give us. Right now, it looks like it might be giving us
a shield buff.
A shield buff. I was wondering if it was going to be a gank. Genetics. Getting vision on that. Sees it. Deems it not worthwhile. And it's just going to stay patient, stay a little further back. The Aphrodite as well. I mean, early on, it feels like this is where you could maybe find a lot of pressure over here, right? Rom's clear is okay, but not fantastic, especially in comparison to something like the Izanami. And while Aphrodite maybe helps make up for that, she's also pretty squishy at the very beginning of the game. It feels like if they were going to go for a gank, Duo could have been a very easy spot to try and find something.
It certainly could. You have to deal with a lot of sustain from Genetics on this Afro, and it looks like Scream just wanted some extra farm in that case, but at the very least, you'd think the Highland Ravens are getting duo pressure, which they are, but Barracuda's health bar, you wouldn't be able to tell, because he doesn't have that level of sustain. Hurrywind's been using that heal, that monolith, just to try and use for roots, but Genetics has been stunning it out. Terra, it's really your kryptonite. If you're able to use that kiss effectively and make sure it doesn't get popped, some damage could come through. Remember, a lot of AoE auto attacks from Barra come through.
Yeah.
Genetics gets real low, has to pop the horrific emblem just to escape.
Play very carefully. He's been trying to get the birds onto Barra, and it's been working mostly well. And there's some of that sustain with the root. Good kiss, maybe even better from Genetics. Just to stall out Hurrywin, stop some of the aggression. And what otherwise could have turned into a kill. Genetics still super low on the health bar. But as is in all healing metas, Trelly, it's not permanent.
No.
And we're going to see that health bar fill up rather quickly. Plus, he still has a multi-pot and a health bot. And so I'm not too worried about Genetics staying power in lane. And instead, I feel like we can lean back a little bit, maybe strap in, because it doesn't seem like either of these junglers are going to be getting as hands-on, at least as quickly as I would have assumed. Erlong Shin, for a long time, was like the level 3 guy. He'd show up. That's when he was maybe finding a lot of the strength. And then you start to really kind of pick up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And not to say that he fell off super hard towards the late game, but he was incredible during the early. Seems like Scream's not trying to utilize that part of the kit right now, or maybe it's just because of all the changes. I mean, the desk had highlighted it.
Yeah.
It's just not the same anymore. You can't do that anymore.
I mean, if you have Mannequin Scepter and a knock-up on your third ability,
you're fighting all the time.
Erlong Shen's killing at level 2 on anyone, but unfortunately, you got Eye of the Jungle, Executioner, and you don't have that knock-up anymore. Scream has to play a little safer. I still think Variety is the target, right? You've got Haddox who could pretty easily force out some damage onto Variety, get that ultimate down, and without that, there's no CC immunity. You already have Executioner built. I mean, you should be able to shred through just about everything that Variety has to offer. I'm surprised Scream from the left side of the map here. Maybe just wanting to pull a relic or just continue camping that shield buff. I imagine that Haddox is going to be trying to force out that ultimate whenever possible, but at the moment, as you said, pretty passive game so far. I mean, just trying to get farm. Notably, Ven recognize that there's not too much CC in his immediate area. Sure, if Variety rotates in and this Hercules comes about, you're going to wish you had beads, but for now, just has the Aegis. You know, you're not going to have to beads too much unless the Baba gets a random silence on the roll of one of her first abilities. Besides that, you just need to watch out from the burst damage from Tings.
Well, you'd called for it. Boulder down for Variety right now, halfway back to its cooldown. And I'm watching Scream very carefully in the jungle. Not only is Blue Buff about to spawn, he's very carefully avoided all of the wards that Variety has placed on this side of the map. Finds Variety and is going in for the damage. If there's communication, should know that there's no Boulder available. Has the taunt, not going to go for it, despite having the Guan Yu with him. There it is to pull Variety in. And then the stun from Haddix, not enough to actually connect. Variety walking away from this one, gets low. Pin is good. Talu Assault is better. And it gets the kill necessary. Now Twig fighting back, doing so much damage. He just beats Scream into the ground and makes that one a 1-for-1.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, if you're playing Vamana jungle in your own rank games and you're wondering why you can't do that, it's because of the Wing Shard. You have to make sure you're popping that shard during the Vamana ultimate, or you're never able to chase down Scream there. And unfortunately for Scream, he already used his. He could not use that extra attack and movement speed to try and zoom away. And Captain Twig gets a return kill in a position that, honestly, he probably shouldn't have been able to. If Scream was able to just run away, he's just fine there. But Variety stalled. He lived just long enough to where he's able to grab that. But your benefit is that Haddix was able to grab the first one. It didn't go to Scream, so at least you aren't shutting down the person with that lead. Haddix should be able to continue winning lane going up against Variety on the Hercules. And because of that, I expect to see some early rotations. If you get a lead like this, Barracuda, I was going to say, you might be in snipe range if Yark was feeling himself, but doesn't go up. Gotta watch out for the amount of poke. You've got cleave autos on the Iza, but Yark can just pop his one, and he also is able to just go through those minions.
That's telling me we're not in the Shark territory, right? This is just hardcore.
Yeah.
He's just hanging around. The Shark is still maybe waiting a little bit before appearing. That was dangerously close. I mean, probably would have needed all 3 snipes.
But Yark hits those.
But Yark he hits those.
Yeah.
We'll see. I was wondering if they'd stick around here. Along Shin's in the jungle.
On my way.
Genetics does have the prophetic cloak. Stun going to be off the board, causing a little disruption from Hurry. Twig's over here. Tings is in the jungle. And it seems like, Trelly, it's all this menacing glaring for the shield buff. Confirmed by the King. Stun good from Genetics. Not going to hit the same way, but Twig stayed over here. Twig is looking for the knockup. Twig is able to slow down Hurry. And now he's back under the tower. He's a big baby, and he's angry. And the snipes ringing true. All 3 connect on to Barra. They aren't going to dive the tower a second time to try and kill him. They kill off Hurry. And they gain pressure in duo.
Yeah, you could tell. Scream wanted to blink in. He called out his Undying Love up. They said, yeah, Genetics has all. There's no way that we're able to keep any sort of aggression on this side of the map. And Twig is able to walk out with his second kill. And Barra stuck around.
Yeah. That one goes about the way you would expect it. You've got one team on one side with healing, one team on the other, where Barra was low and alone. And unfortunately, Hardcore caught him sleeping under the tower, finds the shots necessary. I
saw the exhale. Barra just goes, he did not think that he was going to be able to get caught out there. Lost the beads, still goes down. Hart gets a second kill. He's 1 assist, so he wasn't able to grab the first one. But at the very least, Captain Twig is looking real nice here in this game so far for the Camelot Kings. We talked about the lead that was given to the Ravens. It was just on Haddix. I'm thinking if Haddix is not rotating towards this fight, the Ravens don't want to step up. You don't have that Guan Yu teleporting in or using that cavalry charge. You're going to sit back and just continue farming. Because Captain Twig's up a solid 2 levels over Scream so far. And it seems like they've been mirroring jungle positioning, right? You see Twig over to left, Scream's there as well, but he doesn't have the same opportunities. He can't go in because Genetics is such a threat. The Undying Love is too annoying. He stuns out the dash?
Tings throws out some of the fire. Tries to burn down Agni. Vin stands his ground, though. And that's the interesting note, right? You had mentioned Haddix, small lead that has been closing, right? Variety now 10. Haddix should be hitting 11 a little sooner than him, but it's not going to be that big of a difference overall. Level and a half in the jungle. Got about level and a half for the duo lane as well. Mid has been the one saving grace where nothing's fallen too far behind on either side. damage numbers so far kind of matching up, right? You've got the Divine Ruin on both sides. The Spear of Deso on one, and then a Rod of Tahuti early. Heavy investment from Tings. And damage output, I mean, we've seen a lot from the Baba Yagas. We're seeing a lot from Captain Twig. He's still going for it. Hits hard, has the bladed boomerang, and those crits were there onto Scream. If it weren't for Vin, have to imagine he's chasing that kill down instead. Maybe going to help out the duo lane. Hurry, caught out. Hurry's walls. Trying to stun, trying to save. Not finding enough, but the damage isn't quite there. Snipe one, snipe two. Doesn't even need the third. Twig walks up, puts Hurry in the ground.
Twig is just watching up and getting free kills whenever he wants. Goes for the trade versus Scream and Ven in mid. Doesn't like what he sees. Goes over to left and says, hey, I'm just going to confirm this kill over here. You guys mind? And, of course, Yark gets another assist, so not going to be the end of the world for the duo lane. And Scream can do the only thing he can. Head over to right. The left side of the map is toast for the Highland Ravens. The Camelot Kings, we're going to go for the Fury, but Ven walks up, and they have to respect how much damage this Agni can do over the wall, and they decide to give up. All the while, the Ravens did go for an attempted pull on Pyromancer, but Captain Twig can do no wrong currently, and he's just walking around seeing what he can find.
Vamana causing a little disruption. Haddock's actually going in, goes for the stun. Twig's low, and they're looking for the damage. Good push from Variety. Gets some stuns, helps get Twig out of here. And Fire Giant is dealing some damage, is helping out both sides. The Ravens and the Kings have to back away here, trying to stay alive. One thing Vamana has is that knockup that Scream and specifically Erlong Shen lost, and it feels like that has been super useful throughout these ganks. I mean, part of the reason I think we've seen him is his ease of ganks, and Twig has not been using it lightly. He is disrupting as many as possible. And you have to imagine if that slow does a little more, maybe there's no double dash there from Hurry, he's probably using it again.
Would not doubt it. I want to see looking towards these objectives for sure, as Hurrywin takes even more damage. This Terra cannot step up to Tings or Genetics for the time being. But, you know, the Gold Fury can go down relatively quick, but I think Ven is still able to do a ton of damage over the wall. That's the reason Pyromancer isn't that immediate call here for the Camelot Kings. But Barra is unfortunately setting up underneath that tier 2 tower. That's about as far as he can step up safely on the left side of the map without having some more vision down. He's got plenty of wards towards this shield buff, so he knows Captain Twig is on the shield buff. He's going to make sure he watches his positioning in the meantime. But the Easy can't walk up, which means Gold Fury is free. If Barra's not here, who's going to call it out? And it looks like they're going to go for it. Only Hurry can get here in time, but might be too little too late.
He's around the wall. Barra's going to join. Like you said, though, too little too late. Ravens do get the Pyromancer, so tradesies. But a trade that favors the Kings. Trelly, 4-1 in terms of kills.
Yep.
Most of the time we see 4-1 kills, maybe 1,000, 2,000 gold. Now we are looking at 3,000 approaching 4,000. And a very comfortable lead for the Kings. And it's just the style of play. I mean, you know, Haddix had said it in the interview. He doesn't know exactly what he would call their style. Feels like they're good at every phase of the game. But the Kings just seem to be insane at the macro play and at the farm game. And so far that has been true. Haddix is getting bullied a little bit. That stun, that push, not going to connect from Variety. But Twig's still here. Twig's got Genetics. They want a little bit more. They're going to force the ult out of Haddix. Scream has to sit under the tower and watch. And what is otherwise a 3v2, soon to be 4v3. Twig trying to back away. Hurry. Matches the rotation from Genetics. The Ravens are just going to pull back.
I wanted to see that 1v1 between Barra and Yark just because the way they've built. Barracuda has the crit. Yarkor has the kin size. But you have to watch out if you get too low. If you're Barracks, you don't have that Aegis online, and the snipes could just execute you if Yarkor is able to hit them all. But not going to find the 1v1, and it was actually Yark who gave a little bit of respect and decided to retreat. And Barra knows that Twig is nearby. Walked over a sentry ward, was able to clear out his ward, but he's got to go back. That Vamana does just too much damage. So the tier 2 tower is where the Iza will sit for now. In the meantime, both objectives go down. Ravens grab Pyro, but of course the Kings were able to grab that Gold Fury in their favor, which just works out better for you in the early. The Runic Bomb sure can be an impact, but You want to get as much gold in your pocket and keep pushing that lead, which is exactly what the Camelot Kings have been doing. The only sad part is we haven't really got to see Tings or Venenu get active in any of these fights.
Yeah.
They've got top XP per minute, Tings by a wider margin, but these mages, they've been sort of sitting back. 0-0-0, not a part of any of the kills so far, and they're just looking for their farm.
Player damage, relatively low, although stacking it up for Tings. There's going to be some bombs as well. Agni jumping quite a few positions right there. Wildfire going to do a little bit of damage to those on the ground. No kills for either squad. Couple of ults dropped on both sides. Twigs lurking in the jungle. So it's variety, but it doesn't seem like the Kings are feeling confident, at least in their tower dive right now, Trelly. 15 minutes in. They're mainly aiming for the poke.
So far. And they've got plenty of poke to try and dish out, especially when they have the heal. Genetics has just been making sure he gets to big man Tings. Anytime he goes in for a little bit, he's able to heal it off. Of course, Haddix and Hurrywin have that same level of sustain. It's not like the sustain battle here is one-sided. There's not much to fight over unless you're looking for Bear. The blink in from Twig is not able to find anything, but how much can you chase? Not enough. Barracuda is giving you just fine. Doesn't even have to use relics there. So just a great time dash onto the wall. And Twig unfortunately wastes the blink.
2 minutes till that's going to be back up. Berserker Shield just locked in there. Bracer of Brilliance picked up for Genetics. Charlie, I thought we were going to be in for a much more, I want to say slow-paced game, right? I thought we were going to hit 25 minutes where it was going to be 3 kills max. Kings have been looking for blood, driving the map forward the way they have. Ravens trying to match it. That 3,000 gold mark I talked about earlier, it's kind of just hovered around there. So plateaued for the Kings with the Fury and the Pyro. Going to be up in just a second. That changes a lot of the conversation. If all of a sudden you're able to get one of these, especially in Oni Fury, pressure on the board could translate to a lot. Both teams have only lost a tier 1 each, and it's mirrored. It's the left lane tier 1s. Rotation into mid, trying to get some damage. Scream goes forward, goes for a taunt, pulls in a couple, but isn't going to have the follow-up that you would want. No beads used. Just good disengage by the Kings, and Jelly, they're going to heal up, reset, but keep presence on the tower.
Yep, they're still trying to find this tier 1. Plenty of sustain online, and Scream already used the ultimate and the blink, so has to go for a wraparound play if he wants to get aggressive. The Kings, though, they're heading over for the Pyromancer, and they get to spot out Scream in the process. That should go down for relative free, but the Highland Ravens are posturing like they want to go in for the Fury. They don't have the time to do so, because Variety's here just stalling, making sure nothing will come from it. But Variety could be stepping up too far, gets sundered, has to back up, and takes a lot of damage doing so.
Some damage over the wall from Tings. Helps keep Haddix low. I thought they were going to go for a little more here on the Kings, but they're waiting for the minion wave, going for the tier 1. And then just marching at him. Snipes going to come through. All of them connecting from Hardcore. The boulder deep, clears minions. Vin low. Barra, Haddix, both at half health. Tier 2 getting pressured out. Push is good from Variety. And it gets Barracuda right out of there. Hurry has no mana to work with. Vin too low to stay standing. And even though it was a slow engage, slow walk forward, it's 2 towers and a kill for the Camelot Kings. Retreat back. They're going to get themselves a Fury.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a beautiful siege. I didn't even get to touch on the fact that Hurrywin has been going for this erosion, trying to deal with some of the shielding that Captain Twig has, because it wasn't really the Vamana that fight. It was a lot of the snipes from Yarkor and, of course, the throwing damage from the house from big man Tings that just push out the Highland Ravens. Gotta give credit to Variety, who essentially just dished up Barracuda on a platter for his team. And then both objectives go down for the Camelot Kings. They're pushing this game ever further into their hands. But because they've got good shred, because they've got crit online for Twig, we should be looking at Fire Giant territory here shortly. I imagine you're waiting for Yark to hit level 20. He's going to clear out some of these camps, get a purple buff, maybe push 1 to 2 more waves, and then head back to base and start heading right. Because Barracuda, he's going to be split pushing for a while. This Iza needs the itemization, needs levels. Yark, it seems, is ready to go. He's sitting on a lot of gold already. Should be able to grab at least a tier 2 item and some ward coverage, and then he'll be able to rotate in. And they've got plenty of burst. They've got range for days. I mean, the Highland Ravens do not want to walk up and just face check Fire Giant. considering how much damage the Camelot Kings have.
And that's been a pretty easy burn in a lot of these scenarios. You'd called it, though, back. Coming from Hardcore, Charge Morning Stars, what he's going to leave with for now. And right it is. And right you are. As to where the pressure from the Kings is going to be going. 20 minutes into the game, 5-1. Small clapbacks from the Ravens, but a lot of that, and mainly in terms of the kill, was about 15 minutes ago that it really made the big difference. Has not since then made as huge of a splash. And wouldn't you know it, bottom of the damage charts right now, the Erlong Shin not getting too much done. Charlie, I think we might be seeing what was an attempt to bring it back, and then maybe a note on why it wasn't here to begin with.
Yep, I mean, Barracuda's over on left. He's going to show himself soon. He just cleared that wave. The Kings have a go button, but maybe it's for Scream, who gets his beads forced out, and Captain Twig just gets the beat away. Who gets the kill? Variety. Unfortunate. The silence catches the dash. The knockup is clean, and Scream is gone. The Highland Ravens have to try and find some split push because this Fire Giant should be done.
Yeah, pretty easily at this point. 3 members, 1 in mid, 2 on left, and then Heroine versus the World. Still going to be playing aggressively. Has to use the dash. Goes to the Monolith, uses the second dash as well. So close gap disappears. And I think that's all she wrote. 21 and a half in. Kings get themselves the Fire Giant. The Ravens forced to fall back. Not able to get too much done. I mean, their split push gets a tier 2 in left, a tier 1 in mid. They're losing a tier 2 in a right. And they might lose a little bit more depending on where the Kings want to go.
So much gold in hand, though. Ven is able to get a massive power spike there. He gets finish a starter item, go in towards that rod. He's got plenty of options, deciding on where he wants to go to help him. It looks like he wants to go for the Charon's coin there. No, he actually baited me. He went from Charon's coin into the rod. That's what I thought he would go in the first place. He needs that extra damage, though. When you're under Phoenix and these tanky targets are running at you, you need to make sure your mages are on point. They can clear out the waves. Unfortunately, Barra, again, has been having to stay very far back. And Ben's got that range cleared. He can keep the minions out. But when the Camelot Kings say, hey, Yark, you go to the sky, just snipe out some of the carries, get them half health before the siege begins. Tings, you know what, you use home sweet home. You also go into that ultimate, just send out the back line. And then Captain Twig's able to blink in. It doesn't seem like looking for a fight is even the play. You could just grab Phoenix, get out, and repeat that process 2-3 times, and the base of the Highland Ravens is broken open. Maybe permanently. It's very difficult to try and keep all those birds alive, especially with the lead that the Camelot Kings have. They're going to push up left. They've got one more tier 2 to go for. And it looks like the Ravens are just going to find farm elsewhere. They're not going to try and defend a tier 2 unless it turns into a Phoenix siege.
Stepping up pretty easily. Couple people in mid. Phoenix exposed. Haddix is on the map. Vin just now gets his back done, so it's going to be step forward. Twig leading the way. Variety tanking it up. So a little heat check on mid-Phoenix. And it gets a response, which is, hey, no, we don't want you taking that just yet. 23 minutes in. Hardcore Genetics take the tier 2 on left. All towers from the Ravens gone. Stripped bare is their side of the map. A few autos being thrown in. Mid-Phoenix and left getting aggressed on. And what I like about this, Charlie, is they're playing it so diligently in the sense that you have one team press forward, pull a little pressure away from the other guys, and then the other guys press forward, see what they can do. Home sweet home. Used by Tings, Genetics, Hardcore join the battle over here, and it's a 5v4. The mid-Phoenix goes down, and the health bars are melting on the side of the Ravens. Haddix barely makes it out alive. That boulder not going to be there. The snipes 1, 2. All he needs is a third in Hardcore. He hits those every day of the week. 3 shots and a kill onto Haddix.
I didn't even think he had the damage. I thought he was going up just for fun, but he does. He hits those, and now he gets to walk forward pre-beats, and he's looking to kill Ven.
Variety gets too low, though. Twig as well, forced to retreat. Phoenix left side still standing. Seems like the team maybe confused about whether or not they think they can keep going. Enough damage from the Ravens, they get a second kill. They save a second bird from falling. The Kings may make it look flashy. They fall back. And Trelly, their chokehold it only grows. Not only are the towers gone, not only is mid-Phoenix gone, but their gold lead extending even further. Primal Fury in their favor. And we're going to see them tick up to 7,700 gold in the lead.
They're able to go back, finish up more of those power spikes. It's ridiculous they were even going for the second Phoenix there. That's such an early FG to break the base and go for one Phoenix, but they pull it off because they have good damage arc with the snipes, puts Haddix down. And then they started to go for the left one. And remember, we talked to Haddix before this game. We had a little interview. And he said the Kings had they had a lead and they got a little silly. I think they dialed it back there. The silliness would have been if they tried to go in for that Phoenix and they died. They did not. They decided, okay, we overstepped. We used some relics.
We used all our silly yesterday.
Yeah, let's back it up. That shows growth. I'm proud of them. They decided, hey, we're going to go in for one more FG, then go in for the Phoenix on the left side of the map. And I think that was the correct play. They didn't quite have enough damage, and the Fire Giant buff, at that point, it had completely fallen off. So, smart call. They're able to group up on left. And I think they can just rinse and repeat, Gore. It doesn't get much easier than that. Go for some poke, use your long-range damage. I mean, whether or not it was Yark or Tinks that pushed out the carries, you still get free reign on the Phoenix. And then Yark was able to save his snipes for Haddix. They have another Runic Bomb to go. They've got plenty of time.
Yeah, an easy pickup, as it turns out. The Fire Giant plus the Pyromancer plus that Primal Fury Prior. I mean, everything seems to just be falling into the King's laps right now. 7-2, only 9 kills, 26 minutes in. But effective kills, and some of them stylish as well. 303 for 2 members of the Kings. Genetics 006. Trelly, I see some big power spikes that are either just on the horizon, if you're looking towards specifically Hardcore's build, or if you're looking at Tinks, my man's is swinging with this build. A lot of damage waiting from the Baba Yaga.
Yep, and he is only getting stronger. He's got 3K pots to purchase. He's got a red buff in hand, enhanced Fire Giant. Those sort of things are scary. Ven is a complete item down at the moment besides the tier 1, so can't really match that, but still has the CC, has been able to keep minions out, and has sort of been sitting between Phoenixes here as the Camelot Kings. They start their poke on the left side of the map. They've got plenty of time here, and it looks like just using the ultimate to poke out Bear Variety and a nuisance to the backline of the Highland Ravens.
Gets him, honestly, really low. Takes about a third of Bear's HP. Left side Phoenix goes down. Twig maybe bites off more than he can chew. Dies deep in the Phoenix line. I was wondering if the team was going to look for a little extra damage. If he finds a couple hits on the Bear, Hark assuredly goes into the air, snipes him down. Instead, 1-for-1 trade. Twig for the left side Phoenix. Mid's about to respawn. So the Kings have a little question to ask themselves. Minute left on their power play. What do they do with it?
What do they do? At the very least, Captain Twig finishes Spirit Robe, but it's going to help out. I was wondering if he was going to stall until he gets that upgrade and then decides to go in. And I think that the shield shred on the side of the Highland Ravens is starting to add up, right? You've got that Sundering Blast from Haddix. You've got the Erosion from Hurrywind. This Vamana, you'd think had more damage in the backline, but pretty much immediately goes through. The shielding just could not show up quick enough. And because of that, Captain Twig gets shut down, then gets to get his first kill of the game. He has not been a part of much, but this time around is able to come through. And Haddix is actually pushing up here. How much damage do they have before he gets on the horse is the question.
Well,
not enough.
Yeah, about 1/10 of his HP.
Tinks!
Meanwhile, oh no, can't escape. What a great noxious fumes from Venenu. Catches him out, but unfortunately the Agni does not have anywhere safe to go, and Bera might just be following that fate. Hardcore steps forward with his tanks, and he's finding kills left and right. Has the sustain as well, has the immunity, goes into the sky, snipes. Gonna connect, get some good damage onto Scream. Scream's heal means nothing. And with 3 down on the Ravens, at least the mid-Phoenix is gone. They're gonna look for a little more though, Trelly. Get aggressive, get in there, deal with these frontliners.
So
30 seconds without the Ravens backline, and that's gonna be the game for the Kings. March it into the Titan room and send us to game 2.
I mean, even if the tanks had enough damage to try and defend there, Genetics says, nope, Hurrywind, you're not allowed to dash. Kisses him right before he breaks the monolith, takes away that second reset of the dash, and Haddix is left all on his own. And that takes away so much. You know, Guan Yu, he gets a lot more buffs if he's able to heal his teammates, gets